the law of the niche is that each player has a place where they can add the most value. Each player has a place where they can add the most value. And it's your responsibility as the leader to find out where everybody, what their niche is. Okay? And you know how you do it? You know how you find out somebody's niche, Aaron? Ask them. Ask them. Yeah. Number 4, the fourth law, another law is the law of Mount Everest. Everybody know where Mount Everest is?
Yes.
The law of Mount Everest says that as the challenge increases, the need for teamwork increases. Okay? The challenge, as the law of Mount Everest says that as the challenge increases, so Mount Everest is a steep mountain. People do not climb Mount Everest by themselves. They have a whole team of people. I told you I like to watch documentaries. I love to watch those Mount Everest documentaries.
It's the tallest mountain.
Yes, yes, the tallest mountain. And there's certain ways you gotta climb it. You gotta navigate it. They have like 7 different stages where you can go and rest. But it takes a whole team of people who are gifted. They have their own niche in order to climb to the top of that mountain. So if you have a big dream, then you need a team, and you need teamwork in order to get that dream accomplished. Okay? Just got to have the right players on that team. The law of the chain, says that the strength of the team is impacted by the weakest link. The law of the chain says the strength of the team is impacted by the weakest link. So if you've got a weak link on your team's never going to grow and get where it needs to be if you don't help that person either grow or help them go. All right? Because it's going to hurt your team. So you're only as strong as your weakest link. So either help that person grow and develop. If they don't want to, you need to get them out of there. Okay? Because it's going to have an effect on your business, your team, your church. And then number 6, the last one that we're going to talk about today, is the law of dividends. The law of dividends. Investing in the team compounds over time. Investing in the team compounds over time. And that is so true. The way that our team went from $100,000 a year to $7 million a year is I invested in my inner circle, my top players, and they invested in theirs, and then they invested in theirs, and they invested in theirs, and that's why we were actually able to achieve our goal a year ahead of time, okay, before we had planned it. Okay? So, investing in the team really does, it's going to pay off for your goal, your business, your church, etc. Any questions on this? This is also one you want to remember. Not the whole thing, just that team leadership is more effective than individual leadership. Okay? So reflection number 1 and reflection number 3, you are going to see again. Okay? How are we doing on time now? We good? All right, let's see if we can get through reflection. Yes, ma'am. Miss Mary.
On that 6th law.
Need a microphone? Thank you, Aaron. of those things that we talked about, things that you got to, put into it, it could be time, it could be money. How much? Knowledge, yeah, trainings, appreciation, encouragement, all those things, investing in the team. But remember, the whole idea is growing, helping them grow as leaders, grow yourself as leaders. But when we do that, it pays big dividends. Okay, good question. Okay, let's see if we can get through number 4 before we take our break. Okay? Reflection number 4. Reflection number 4. And this is another one that you're going to see again. Okay? So another one you're going to see again. Adversity, when I handled it correctly, helped me become a better person and a better leader. Adversity, when I handled it correctly, helped me become a better person and a better leader. And this is so, so true. But I gotta, what? The Bible says we confess our sins before one another. There certainly were times when I didn't handle things correctly. And it hurt the team and it hurt me, as a leader. It held the team back. But when I did handle it correctly, it not only helped me, but it did help the team. There in your book it says, at the moment of adversity, we usually fail to see or appreciate the benefits. After adversity is passed, over a period of time, we see and appreciate the benefits if we have responded correctly. The major difference between average people, we talked about this previously in John's book, Failing Forward. The major difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and their response to failure. Everybody has a train wreck, one time or another, in their ministry, in their business, in their life. Everybody does. The key is, what do we do when we fell forward? We get up, we learn from it, and we move on. We move forward. You will have a train wreck. The questions are, when will you have it? How will you respond? Adversity will come. Sometimes we know it's around the corner, and other times it hits totally unannounced. Either way, you need to be prepared for adversity. You need to be prepared for adversity. And remember I was telling you yesterday about John's heart attack that he had in 1998? And he wasn't prepared. And he said that's probably one of he's had like 3 major adversities in his career pastorate. And that was, he said, probably one of the biggest, is that he did not take care of his health. And he had that heart attack, and he almost died, But he learned a lot from that lesson, and now he's thriving now, And so, and he stayed around so that people like me could learn from him, be certified by him, you guys can learn from him, and on and on and on, and it still goes on. He's got millions of folks who've been through his training. So, these are just some of the lessons that he's learned from his heart attack, and I'm just going to go through them real quickly. Lessons that do we have time for this? heart attack in 1998. He learned to be grateful for life. He learned to be grateful for life. He's still living. There in your book, there's a quote by Helen Keller that's really good. Everybody know who Helen Keller was? Who was she, Lawrence?
She was blind, deaf.
She was blind and deaf. Yep. And this is what she said: I have often thought it would be a blessing if each human being were stricken blind and deaf for a few days during his early adult life. Darkness would make him more appreciative of sight, and silence would teach him the joys of sound. Thank you, Helen. She was right. She was right. Okay, the second lesson that John learned from his heart attack is he learned that you can never tell people you love that you love them enough. You never tell people you love that you love them enough. Remember, he was laying there on the floor. He thought he was dying. He was telling everybody, all of his key folks around, how much he loved them and appreciated them. Third was I learned to be a good steward of my body. He started exercising, gave up desserts, and I remember him telling a story that he was at the John Maxwell Company, and we were in a meeting, and somebody brought in donuts, and of course he couldn't eat them. So he was like telling people, you have one for me, have one for me. And so one of our leaders said, I bet, now that you've not eaten desserts for so long, I bet you don't want sweets anymore. And he said he just wanted to choke the guy because he wants sweets. He did want them, but he just would withhold from taking them because he learned this lesson from his heart attack that he had to give them up. Fourth was I've learned the grace of receiving. I've learned the grace of receiving. Jonathan and I talked about this the other day. I'm a good giver, but I'm not a very good receiver. And so that's something that I have had to work on and learn to do. These guys, they get my bag out of my car or my computer or whatever, and I'm used to taking it myself, But my mom has this saying that just shook me in the boots about not stealing somebody's blessings. And that's when somebody tries to do something good for you, my mom would always say, don't steal my blessings. Y'all haven't learned the blessed life yet, but when you get to that, that's really going to hit home for you. Because when others give to us, they're going to, and they give in the right spirit, they're going to get a blessing for that. So who am I to steal that blessing? So this is an area that I've had to work on, though. I will confess. Okay. Another lesson that John learned from his heart attack was he learned the value of prayer. He learned the value of prayer. When he had his heart attack, of course, because he had had an impact on people's lives all over the world, people all over the world were praying for him. But he had a prayer partner that he had for years. And when John had his heart attack, the man lived actually out in California. He flew to Atlanta, Georgia, which is basically across the country. And he stayed in his room and prayed for him all night long. He never stopped praying for him. And when John woke up, the first person he saw was his prayer partner. And his prayer partner told him, John, it's so good to see you awake. I've been here praying for you all night long. So he learned the value of of prayer. Number 6, he also learned to focus on what I have and not what I have lost. Focus on what I have and not what I have lost. Like food and desserts, not having to exercise, etc. Number 7, I've learned that developing a solid, I'm sorry about that, number 5. I've learned that developing a solid, enjoy team has paid off. I've learned that developing a solid, enjoy team has paid off. So the year after, he had his heart attack in 98. The year after, in 1999, which is the year, I'm not saying it's because of me, but I did help with the song band. But the 1999 was the greatest year his ministry had ever had. He was there less, doing less, but he empowered his team and tweaked some things and did some things differently, and it was the greatest year they had ever had. And they had it without him having to be there all the time. Okay? So, number 8, I've learned to place my family first. I've learned to place my family first. Now, God is first in his life. Okay, that's a given. Okay? But to place his family first because of his travel and speaking and stuff like that. He was not staying at home with his wife Margaret, and the kids and everything, and he learned that lesson because he had to stay home for that first year. And so he got to spend more time with her, the kids, and et cetera. And so he learned, put the company over here, God first, the family, and then the other stuff. And then the final lesson that he learned is that God still has a plan for his life. God still had a plan for his life. That wasn't his time. And God is still using him in a mighty, mighty way. There in your book, success is having those who are closest to me love and respect me the most.
Yes, Lord.
Success is having those who are closest to me love and respect me the most. Something is wrong with us if people who don't know us love us more than those who know us the best. Somebody talked about that. Was it Nathan? Somebody kind of referred to that. I think some of your comments. But if people who don't know us love us more than those who know us the best, something is wrong. We got to work on that.
Those who are near us, maybe they have seen close in our character.
Yeah.
The strangers don't know about us.
Right.
Maybe as they learn us, we are like about us and also with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll close with this last little comment by Richard Bach. He says, here is a test to find whether your mission on earth is finished. If you're alive, it isn't. If we're alive, our mission is still ongoing. So with that,